Hey guys, it's the Big Outside MTB again, and in today's video I'm going to show you where, in my opinion, is the best place to mount your bike computer. What I'm going to be using is a 76 Project bike computer mount. What makes this mount so special is it adds another spot where you can mount your bike computer. 76 Projects themselves designed this for the top tube of the mountain bike. Also, before we get too far into the video, I wanted to mention to you guys that this is only going to apply to Garmin, Wahoo, and Polar, since those are the only mounting designs that they offer. And I guess I'll get into a couple of the upsides of why you'd want to mount your Garmin to the top tube. I'm sure some of you can already know by common sense of why you want to mount it on your top tube, but I'll explain a couple of the upsides right now. So for me, I'm more of a gravity focused rider, and crashes do happen. And something I was afraid of with getting a nice bike computer was, in a crash, it would hit the ground and break. I've actually heard a couple of my friends break a couple of their head units because they crashed and it was mounted to their bars. So I really wanted mine to be mounted to the top tube because this seems like the most ideal place and the least vulnerable out of all of the places that people tend to mount their Garmins. Another place that a couple of people did recommend was behind the seat tube, or not behind, but in front of the seat tube. But the problem is that now you have a bike computer that only can track rides because you're not going to be able to see it, and that's going to be kind of annoying. So I would really wanted a place where I could actually use the bike computer while I was riding, and it wasn't just hidden away and pretty much useless at that point. So then it just comes down to the top tube mount. That is pretty much, the top tube mount is pretty much the only place that I have found that you can still use and see the screen perfectly fine, but it's not very vulnerable in a crash, and so that is why I picked the top tube mount. And another upside is if you also do YouTube or POV like me, then with it mounted to the bars, it looks kind of bad, and I really didn't want to disturb the view of you guys. I respect you guys. I want you guys to be able to enjoy my videos and not see this like funky Garmin sticking out of the front of my bike. And it just looks weird in general. It's probably slightly even distracting for me. I never rode with it, but it does look like it's probably going to be distracting when you're really focused and stuff. But yeah, that's another upside, is if you guys are doing POV, this is probably the best place you can mount it because it's going to be the least distracting. And if your angle is right, you shouldn't see it too much in the video. And oh, another thing is that I've seen this in another video of this exact mount. You can actually scooch this back to about the middle of the top tube, and if you do that, it'll actually pretty much get rid of the entire view of the Garmin or whatever head unit you might have in POV video. It's pretty easy to install. You basically just wipe down the top tube with the isopropyl alcohol wipe, and then you basically just take off the adhesive and stick it down. I would recommend, while you're sticking it down, have the Garmin connected so you can actually make sure that the Garmin, or head unit I should be saying, I keep saying Garmin, but when I say Garmin I mean just all bike computers in general. Make sure it is centered, because I'll tell you what, you're gonna go nuts if this thing is not centered, because you're gonna be looking at this a lot. You want it to be centered. So yeah, definitely do that. I should also mention that 76 Project does have 3 different mount types. I'm on the mount, the Type A. The Type A is basically for flat or slightly curved frames. Santa Cruz tends to be a lot more boxy, so flatter frame. Mine's a little bit curved on the top, so Type A was perfect. And then you have Type B, which is for curved frames. So like, you know, like how dirt jumpers or, you know, more boutique frames will have very tubed frame design, where that's where you want, that's the mount you're going to want to use, is the Type B. And then one more mount, this one's a little bit harder to come by, but the Flex mount. The Flex mount is if you have an in-between of a Type A and a Type B. So more curved but still kind of flat frame. I don't know. Just, I would highly recommend, if you guys are thinking about buying this mount, make sure you guys go to the description below, click the 76 project link. They have a pretty good guide on their website that shows which one you guys are going to need. So I'd recommend checking that out. Don't just take my word for it. Check that out. See which one you need. Also guys, stay tuned because eventually I'm planning on making a review on my Garmin Edge 530. I'll just give you guys a little hint. It is pretty awesome, and yeah, I have a lot to say about this thing. It's pretty cool. Only have 3 rides on it, but yeah, in the near future I will have a review of that Garmin. Yeah guys, stay tuned for that. Alright guys, there's just not that much more to say about it. This is an amazing mount. I would highly recommend this mount if you are a gravity focused rider or just kind of want it out of the way. I'll have a link in the description below to their website, to this mount. They have a US website. They're based out in the UK. So if you're lucky, you'll find the color and design you need in the US, but if not, you're gonna have to order it from the UK. Well, there's just not that much more to say about this mount. If you guys did find this video helpful, please smash that like button down below. And if you guys did like what you see, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out, and we're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. So it would mean the world to me if you guys go down and subscribe. And remember guys, full send or no send.